On the Nostalgia Time show right now is Miss Dragonfly, who has just entered the studio, and we welcome her with open arms once more to talk about the continuing subject of Feng Shui. Good morning, Miss Dragonfly.
Good morning, John. Great to be back.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now continuing with our series on Feng Shui. How did you find last week?
I think it was very interesting. I'm learning a lot, but I tell you what, I'm finding it hard to comprehend everything all at the one time.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll slow down a little bit.
Oh, no. On the contrary, that's just me. I'm saying I think that what I should do is maybe contact you through your website, and we can certainly do that. That's
yes,
www.
On Facebook.
On Facebook?
Miss Dragonfly.
Oh,
on
right.
Facebook.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
What if I've never been on
Facebook? Oh, you just send me an email.
Send you an email?
Yeah, Miss Dragonfly at Eastern Guidance.
Oh, thank you very much. And then once I get onto Facebook, what do I do then?
Oh, you can send me a message or you can post directly on my Facebook page.
That's so simple, isn't it?
Yes.
Good.
I mean, most people have Facebook now.
I'll let you get on with it now.
Okay. Now, last week, I did address the very quite well-known idea that you should not be living at the end of a T-junction. Now, I have been asked, what if you do a remedy? Can it be remedied? The answer is actually yes. There is a Feng Shui remedy that you can do.
Yeah, what do? You move.
Well, actually, that is the best option. There are certain things you can do. However, we always recommend is the best thing is to not to live there in the first place, rather than putting a remedy. When you put a remedy to correct something that isn't right, doesn't mean it becomes good luck. Just means that it drains the negative. Okay, it kind of analogy is, I guess, someone's got a knife and wants to hack at you. You put up your shield.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just hacking at your shield.
Yes.
So you're protected, but that's not an ideal situation.
No, it's not.
You prefer not to be hacked at and have to put up that shield at, because you're still feeling not quite right with someone hacking at the shield.
You'd rather be better off without the knife and the shield.
Yep.
Makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's addressing a question I've been asked. Okay. Dealing with the actual house. So we're going to look at the actual house itself today. The first thing is that, well, the first principle, everything needs to be balanced. Everything should be in proportion with each other. And the first thing you see in a house is basically the face is the door.
Yes.
And so that door size needs to be relative to the size of the house. So you don't want a great big mansion like Buckingham Palace and have your normal regular one-person door. Just seems a bit out of balance.
Yeah.
Likewise, you wouldn't want a little cottage and have a set of double doors.
Yeah.
Because that's just overwhelms the whole house. Thinking of this way, thinking about a small person with a mouth is too big for his face, for their face, really, it's out of whack. Whereas someone who's big, maybe a sumo wrestler, and having this really small mouth, that's just not right. When you're looking, sometimes you actually see people, that seems the case, people that really have very large mouths.
Yeah.
And then people that have seemingly very small mouth. It just doesn't look quite right.
No.
Yeah, same analogy with the house and the door. Just think of the door as the mouth of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
All ready to swallow you up.
Well, when it is, swallow you up. Next thing is, yes, again, sharp angles. We need to keep bringing up because it's very important to avoid.
Yep.
It's an unfavorable object in Feng Shui. So not only are sharp objects in front of the house that's bad, pointing to the house that's bad, even a picture or pattern on the floor is bad if it's pointing at the house or someone's position. So I know that some people have patterns, tile patterns on the floor, and sometimes there could be points, like star points.
Yes.
You've created an angle, a sharp point by doing that. So best to avoid those types of designs. And then by extension for that, also avoid having plants with sharp points. And that means thorns. So avoid cactuses or even roses in the house.
Oh, in the house?
Yeah, in the house, because it's thorns. It's very sharp. Thornless variety, and nothing against the road itself. Thornless varieties are fine.
We have lovely aromatic roses out the front.
Out the front? Is it on either side of the path coming in?
No.
Have you ever experienced trying to walk in through a house when on either side there's rose bushes full of thorns? Good.
No, I haven't, because I've been frightened that if I swing my arm out a bit too far, I'm liable to get a big thorn.
Yeah, it's kind of that feeling, as I say.
Yes.
When you're walking through, because I know those older houses, they tend to have those bushes, those bushes on either side.
Down the path.
And you feel like, crouching or trying to winch yourself in, make yourself as small as you can walking in. It's not a good feeling.
Well, I'm only
understand,
little
yeah.
anyway, so...
Oh, yes, and on plants, this is very surprising to a lot of people. Another bad plant to have in the house is actually bonsais.
Really?
Yes. Bonsais look oriental and they look very elegant and sweet.
I'm
don't
safe
they?
there, I don't have it.
You don't have a bonsai.
No.
Yeah, which is good. Now, why are they bad? Well, just think, what is a bonsai all about?
It's stunting growth.
Stunting growth, exactly.
Yeah.
Keeping it miniature, and they're forced into this little tray where there's only a tiny amount of soil, as I've seen them put it on. And the whole point of a bonsai is not to let it grow big.
No, it's
It's constrained.
there for show.
It's there for show. It's constrained. Keeping it miniature is stunting the growth. So you've got that energy around, and well, what will that side effects of that be? You're going to feel it be hard. You've got the energy of stunted growth. It's going to be hard for you to prosper, to grow.
It is going to be
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, for sure.
So
You're restricted.
You're restricted. You're restrained. You're constrained. So you might find it very hard to grow your business, or if you're working in your own career professional, it's more difficult to get promotions.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and this is another point that's quite well known. Have you heard the part in Feng Shui about the front door and the back door being aligned
No.
to avoid that?
No, I haven't.
But you know of the houses I'm referring to. There's older style houses. You open the front door, you see the back door
You
is
see the
direct
back door straight away.
straight away.
That's
Straight.
because it's at one end of the hallway.
Yeah, and the other hand of the hallway. And what's your natural inclination to do? Is to walk right through it to the back door. That's what that's what the feeling you get. You're invited to just go straight out the back. Why is it bad? Because this passageway creates energy, a passageway that is very conducive to energy just coming in and coming straight out.
Yes.
It just rushes it out. Yeah, it does not get a chance to settle in the house. You know what I mean? Normally energy comes through and should be able to settle amongst the house and the room. An analogy I'll draw, let's think of the house as having internal diarrhea.
Oh, that's not a very pleasant thought.
But you know what I mean, eh? Comes straight in and it comes straight out.
Yes,
the body doesn't get a chance to digest it.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and those are older houses. I think when were they built?
Oh, they were built in the 30s and
30s and 40s,
Yeah.
right back then. I don't know what the idea behind that design was.
Yeah, well,
Cheaper to build?
probably because they're all stereotyped in a manner of speaking. Yeah.
What can you do if your house is like that? Well, a remedy is to make a round-shaped door at the entrance of the passageway.
All right.
You see, Feng Shui knowledge is more than just this. This really separates the true Feng Shui experts from each other. A deeper knowledge is knowing the elements, shapes of the elements it creates. The door aligning from the front and the back, it creates a wooden arrow, what we call a wooden arrow. It shoots straight through. So what are you going to do to counteract wood? The round shape is actually a metal element. So in effect, you're creating a metal to chop the wood.
Okay. You couldn't just put a shield or what do they call those things?
Physical block.
Yeah.
How would you put? How would you going to arrange the house? You're going to block.
It's like a
straight
shield. If you can do it, that is to go around.
If you can, but for some houses you can't. Depends
Yes.
on the design. If you can put up a door there, right there,
Yeah.
and get to direct the energy elsewhere, that's the best.
I mean, you could always put another door in the middle, couldn't you? So that
But then
it's-
still
yeah.
aligning the same problem.
Well, I was
Or if you can move the door,
yes.
move the back door, so it's not a straight shoot through. But
Yeah.
that is the actual remedy because round is a metal element in Feng Shui.
Yep.
So that keeps the wooden arrow in control and under control. And this is a true Feng Shui practice and remedy.
We might go to a break right now and we'll return in a few minutes.
89.3 2GLF, your local station with music, community news and information. All day, every day.
Okay, houses should generally be bright and filled with light and not dark. You know, I've known to come into certain houses where it's pretty dark. It's just not inviting.
They keep it dark so that in their mind it keeps it cool. That's the idea behind it. And in particular, older people, and I mean much older than me,
cut electricity bill.
And, well, that's one reason, but they also do it because it does tend to keep the house cool. If you block out the light, there's no heat.
Yeah, but how much heat would a light bulb generate?
A light bulb?
You're saying about keeping it dark, or you're saying about pulling the blinds down?
Pulling the blinds and making everything dark from outside, keeping the sunlight out so that...
You walk around in the dark.
Yeah, people do that.
But if you were to step in the house, it's very, very uninviting. I know if you've ever inspected houses...
Yes.
And this is something that home vendors, home sellers are always advised to do, is make the house inviting, having lots of light.
Exactly.
So it feels warm. A warm house.
But a lot of people out there don't.
Don't, but also it's because I guess they have different inclination. It could be a sign for that. Because in Feng Shui, light is yang, dark is yin.
Explain.
It's explained. Are you familiar with the yin-yang symbol?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
very, okay. So the yang side is the white side.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay. And the yin side is the black side.
Yang.
So I've got myself.
Yang is
it's
light.
It's daytime. Yin is dark and it's a nighttime.
Okay.
So now, when it's life is yang as well. Anything to do with the spiritual and
like ghosts?
Is like ghosts, and the religious is yin, because that deals with the spiritual life. Just like you've got both in life, you've got the spiritual and you've got the living. Okay, so ghosts are very yin, and that's why they only appear at night in their environment. Have you ever heard of a house being haunted during the day?
Not a house, but old house.
During the daytime,
Yes.
middle of the daytime.
Yeah.
That would be very unusual. Usually they only come out at night.
Usually.
Because that is the environment.
Just like vampires.
And the thing about vampires, they're terrified of the sun, aren't they?
That's right.
Vampires are very, very yin.
The sun comes out, they'll wither.
They'll die. They're terrified of the sun.
Yes.
It's also one thing regarding the use of mirrors, because I'll come back to it later again, but I'll just touch on it. Vampires are, the Western metaphysics regards mirrors as being a vortex to the spiritual side and the ghosts.
Yes.
Remember in folklore that the vampire doesn't have a reflection in the mirror?
So they say.
So they say. Basically, because the mirror is yin, the vampire is yin.
Yep.
So that's why they don't attract. Yes, contrary to most people, what people believe, mirrors only reflect light. They attract everything else that is yang.
Because
that
they
is
are
physical.
yin, no light is reflected.
No, because they're yin, and the mirror is it's yin in nature, it's trying to attract the yang. That's why it's not attracting the vampire's reflection. It's just like when you're familiar with magnetic poles. You've got the South Pole and the North Pole. What happens when you try to push the South and the South together?
They repel.
They don't attract. They're trying to attract the opposite. That's why our physical form is yang. We look in the mirror, our reflection is there. It's just been attracted in. And now it makes sense.
Certainly does.
Yeah. And that's also why you see a lot of psychics are very yin in nature, as they communicate with the yin. They have the connection to the spiritual.
Yes.
That's why a lot of mediums, you see psychic mediums, get messages from the other side, so forth. They're usually either women or men that are more in touch with their feminine side, because the yang is the masculine. The yin is the feminine. That's why you need both. That's why people get confused. A simple way I get people to think of it is that yang is 4 letters.
Yes.
And yin is 3 letters. And usually, the average man is usually bigger than the average woman. Right? Oh, yes. Got to expanding on the mirror. That you've even heard of. Have you heard of, they say, don't have mirrors in your bedroom?
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay. People have built-in wardrobes.
Yes.
They spend a lot, and it's quite common. A lot of people do this. The entire sliding door of the built-in is a mirror. It's full of mirror. So you have basically half the entire wall on one side of the bedroom full of mirrors.
No, I don't have that, but that's all right. That's good.
But that actually is very bad in Feng Shui.
We just have a dressing table, which is round.
And does it reflect you when you're sleeping?
No.
Yeah, that's good. The reason why it's bad, there's lots of explanations, but not many of them are correct. The reason is our physical form is yang. And as I mentioned before, the mirror is yin and it attracts you. Normally when you use a mirror, it's fine because you're going to kind of only look and groom yourself. But if you're sleeping and it's reflecting your physical form, and remember, this is prolonged exposure. 8 hours every single day for years on.
All right.
And that's just attracting the yang from you, and it's not good. Because that's why over a period of time it weakens you, because it's just attracted a little bit day by day because prolonged exposure. That's why we
could go on about this forever. This is very interesting. Oh, I like it very much.
It's just like having little sips of alcohol every now and then. It's fine. But if you're drinking several glasses every day, eventually you're going to cause problems.
Absolutely. All sorts of problems.
Yeah, so I think that's all we have time for this week.
Yes.
Though it's getting very interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So we will continue.
Don't you run away. Don't you run away. I want you to come back.
We'll sure do.
Okay, then.
Next week with more Feng Shui. It's a very big subject, so we'll be taking a while.
All right, so we can ask you questions plenty on
my Facebook page.
Yep.
Search for Miss Dragonfly, or send me an email to missdragonfly@easternguidance.com.
Okay, well, thank you very much once again, Miss Dragonfly. We hope that you come back next week and
I shall do.
Tell us all about that.
See you next week.
Thank you.